Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica and Steve Bradley, a winter recess edition, as we have on some wrestling guests here as they get ready for states, some of them at least. And Steve Bradley, Churchville-Chili, in my 20 years doing this here program, has never won a Section 5 championship in wrestling. They did that this year with a 20-3 record, and they won the Class A2 title for the first time. 9th season for Coach Justin Raines. He's in the bottom right there. Coach, congratulations on that. Let me do some introductions here first. We've got a freshman, Andrew Jeffers. Andrew was runner-up in the 110-pound classification. Also, we've got Gael Sanchez. He was runner-up. He's a junior, 285. Gael, you wear it well, sir. I never would have guessed the 285,
Thank you.
man. Wouldn't want to walk up against you in a dark alley. And then we've got the coach's sons, Cael and Coy Raines. They are twins. They are juniors, and they are both Section 5 champions. Cael at a 132 and Coy at 160. I'm going to find out what the weights were when they came out of the womb from their dad in a few minutes. But first, Coach, congratulations on winning this. Was this something you saw coming the last few years, like this could be the team, or did these guys make a leap that even surprised you to become Section 5 champs?
It's always been slow, steady progress. And every year before the season starts, we get with the leaders, the captains, and say, hey, what's the goals? And last year, I actually thought that was the team that we could win the title with. We had 10 seniors in the program, 5 active starters, and we kind of came up short to Spencerport by 40 points. But rolling into this season, I knew there was some positive dynamics coming in, but we had a very young team, only 2 seniors, 6 new faces as far as our varsity lineup, and they were just steady plotting. And it wasn't until probably the end of the postseason a few weeks ago that we started looking at our team, thinking that we actually probably had a pretty good shot of accomplishing this.
Boy, what does it mean to be the first to do this? I mean, there can only be one first and only one history maker. What does this mean to you and your teammates?
Is that to me?
To Coy. That was the Coy.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty cool to like make history, I feel like, and something I think we'll cherish for a long time, and just, I don't know, just something pretty cool. Number probably hasn't really set in yet, but something that I feel like it's really cool to make history as a program and a team.
Andrew, you're the young guy in the bunch. What weight did you wrestle last year? Were you on varsity, and how did you do in sectionals last year?
So last year I wrestled at 102, and yeah, I was on varsity. I got 4th place in sectionals, and I started for half the year, and then the other half as a senior started over me.
What was different this year for you? Why have you been runner-up is great, but tell me about that. What did you learn after 1 year of becoming a varsity wrestler?
Well, I got a lot stronger and a lot older, and got coached very well, and just learned a lot more technique and got a lot better.
Steve,
you have experience.
Steve, one quick one, Steve. Andrew, I love the hair. Is that how you do it every day? Is that like the messy look, or did you just get out of the shower or something?
No, I just kind of don't really care about what my hair looks like, really. That's kind of how I leave it.
I love it, Steve. That's perfect. We always have, if I see good hair on the show, I always point it out. Look at Cael's now. Your hair looks great, Cael. Don't worry.
Yeah, you still haven't pointed mine out yet in 3.5 years. But
there's not enough to point out anymore, my friends.
Cael, you've been to states before. Jeff mentioned February recess. It's not really a recess. Right now, what are you doing to prepare, and what's it like to be on the stage with the greatest wrestlers in the state high school?
Yeah, we've been practicing a lot. We do a lot of like doubles, so we'll go in the morning, either like we're lifting, we're running, or wrestling, and then later in the day we'll practice with some Section 5 guys. But I think it's cool like being a part of that big stage. But I think it's kind of stressful a little bit, but you relax, enjoy it, have fun with it, and trust what's in store, and trust that you've been working hard, and trust the hours you put in, and see the results and stuff. So
gonna go a little McDermott, right? A little Sean McDermott. Trust the process. Gael, what's been your process? How did you end up at 285 Were you a young fella that just grew like a weed in the last couple of years, or have you always been a big fella?
I think I've always been a big fella. In like 8th grade or 7th grade, I was like 180. So, and after COVID, I gained a lot of weight, but I feel like this year it's more muscle than fat, and just a lot of everything.
So here's
Gael,
the
what's your
benefit of playing-
style? What's your style as a heavyweight?
Just heavy on my feet and try not to get thrown.
Coach, let me ask you about this young fella. Tell us about Gael's his maturation over the last few years, because you've been with this group for 9 altogether as a head coach. And by the way, congratulations, our G&G Fitness Coach of the Week last week. But tell us about Gael's maturation.
Yeah, he's doing a great job in the program. We have a heavyweights coach with Dan Preston who works specifically with Gael, and he's a very athletic heavyweight. When you watch him wrestle, he's starting to trust his offense on his feet, and he's kind of getting after it. I think this tournament he had a great showing, made the finals for us, and in the process during the semifinal match, he reversed the tables on his Brockport opponent, who we lost to just 2 weeks ago. So I think he's doing a great job for us, and just a great bookend for us to close out the duels, and someone we can rely on.
While I've got Coach here, let's just find out right now. Of the twins, who was there a heavier twin coming out of the womb? Because now they're 28 pounds difference, but were they basically the same weight, same height? How'd that go, Coach?
They were slightly different. Coy's the baby by 2 hours, and he was just slightly bigger than Cael, and just slightly a little heavier. But as they've grown, they've kind of kept that gap.
Now, Coach,
So-
Jeff is all about the names today, and I'll let him do that. But Cael, in a wrestling family, I got to ask: is that a little bit of a tribute to Gael Sanderson, or is there something else there?
Yeah, I'd say probably a little bit, but I don't know. I would say, yeah, probably a little bit.
Well, Coach, you named them, right? You helped name them, so you tell us where'd the names come
Yeah,
from?
that was probably one of the names, the forefront. By the time they were born, Cael was kind of coming on the scene. 4-time Division I national champ, Olympic champ, and it kind of resonated there, and kind of stuck with that.
And Coy, was there a story behind that name?
Just trying to keep with the twin concept, the C's. At the time, I think Coy Detmer, Coy Wire in the football realm. And I know the different spellings, whatever, but it was just a unique name that we kind of stuck with.
So before we take a break, Coach, tell us about your wrestling background. I mean, you don't just name your son after a wrestler if you don't have a wrestling background. Tell us about your background, Coach.
I graduated from Spencerport in the 90s, wrestling for legendary coach Bill Giacotto.
That explains it.
Had the my brothers as well. We all wrestled for Spencerport, so just a wrestling family. My dad wrestled for Churchville-Chili back in the 60s, so he was one of the founding wrestlers for the program. And then I had the privilege to get a wrestling scholarship to wrestle for University of Buffalo Division I.
Nice. So
What does it
whenever we hear
mean,
the name,
Coach? Your
Go ahead,
dad, because my dad taught at Churchville-Chili for 30 years, starting in 1968. So I'm familiar with Coach Maxwell from back in the day. But for your dad to be on one of those early history-making teams, what's it feel like to come full circle and see your boys in the program now?
Yeah, he's super proud of the team. He wrestled under Coach Lou Smith, and he was just passionate about the program, and just a very competitive man by nature, and just a good godly man who's blessed to have children and his grandchildren wrestling. So he's ecstatic.
So I
And
gotta ask-
think much like the other alumni, they couldn't be more pleased, I think, with this program, the way it's heading.
you've had some great mentors in your past. Can I ask a little about Coach Giacotto? What he are there lessons that he taught you still take with you today?
Yeah, he was probably very pivotal. Before I took the position, I ran it past him to get his thoughts. And the first year I took over, we ran a camp. He was the first instructor we had. He gave me his practice schedule. The year they were 3-time defending state champs. And then I just talk to him probably once every other month, just to get his input. Obviously, being a head coach, but also being the coach of your son. His son, Billy Jocto, came through the program, and he gave me some great advice and said, you gotta wear 2 hats. You're a coach and a dad. And when practice ends, take that wrestling coach hat off and put the dad hat back on. So he's just got tremendous amounts of wisdom that I just continue to leverage. So.
With that, we'll take a quick break. You're watching us right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.
Whether it was Dad letting you grill for the first time, or Grandpa taking you out to a ball game, or even a summer picnic before the fireworks on the 4th of July, Zweigels has created generations of memories that shape who we are and what our community has become.
Are you looking for a place to create your greater story? Roberts Wesleyan University was voted the best undergraduate program by the Rochester Business Journal Reader Rankings in 2022. We're honored and humbled for being recognized as a top winner. Within every student is a transformation story in the making. At Roberts, you'll find an academically inspiring environment led by supportive, high-quality professors. You'll build upon your education and have opportunities to pursue your interests, explore career opportunities, and shape your future forward at Roberts, a liberal arts university anchored in Christ located in Rochester, New York. Apply now for fall 2023 at roberts.edu/apply. We'll get back to you within 24 hours once you submit your application. Bring your greater story to light at Roberts Wesleyan University.
You don't choose to get hurt at work, but you can choose the workers' comp attorneys at Connors and Ferris to fight for your money and medical benefits you deserve.
With over 20 years of industry experience, we will give your case our undivided attention so that you and your family can focus on your recovery.
So call Connors and Ferris, the workers' comp attorneys dedicated to fighting for injured workers' rights.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Hi, this is Jeff DiVeronica. I'd like to tell you about my friends from Doyle Security. We lost my father-in-law a few years ago, and that meant my mother-in-law was going to be alone in her house. One of my first calls was to Doyle. Doyle has an award-winning burglary detection system, and that gave her peace of mind again. It gave her comfort. These days, you can't put a price tag on that. Whether it's for your family or yourself, at any stage of your life, Doyle is there for you. For seniors, Doyle offers a personally enabled GPS emergency response system. They have a full array of smart systems, including fire and carbon monoxide detection, security cameras, and more for your home or business. More than 35,000 families and businesses rely on Doyle every day and every night. Family owned and operated for more than 100 years, you don't have that kind of staying power unless you're doing something right. To learn more, call 1-866-GO-DOYLE or visit godoyle.com.
There are plenty of professional sports teams in Rochester, but there's also a lot of great high school sports action in each town in our area. When's the last time you checked out a high school game? Section 5 sports are about more than just wins and losses. They're about teaching teamwork, dedication, and discipline. So support the kids who play for your school. Get out and watch a high school game today. For more information, including schedules, rosters, and stats, visit section5.org. That's sectionv.org. Brought to you by the Monroe County League and Section 5.
Sweet baby, oh baby,
You know, whether you come here as a 6th grader or a 9th grader, you have to spend your 4, 5, 6 years here and just get involved in so many different things. And then you're going to go out and set fire on the earth. When you get through McCoy Jesuit, you're not going to fail when you get out in the world.
So from the consultation to the installation, I think the word that comes to mind is easy. I've talked to a lot of people where their renovations have been nothing but headaches, and this was never a headache. It was easy. From the moment Marty came and talked with me about all the options and about all the process, he was so easy to talk to. It was like talking to an old friend. Laid everything out. There was no pressure. I just felt very at ease about the whole process. And then when Ryan came, he was in at 8 o'clock and he was out by 3:30. It was incredible. And with the supply chain issues right now, the one thing that I loved the best about Bathfitter was that they do all of their own production and then they also do their own installation. So it was a quick process. We were able to get the installation date within a few weeks, and it was just easy. And we are so thrilled with our brand new gleaming tub. So we couldn't be happier.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica, and a host of tough guys from Churchville-Chili. They are the Section 5 Class A2 champions for the first time in school history. And, you know, you guys will have that in your back pocket the rest of your lives. You were the first champs in your school's history. And I don't know, maybe it's because it's West Side guys, but let me lead off with this one to you guys. Do you guys know that back in the day, maybe I'm sure the Rains brothers know this because their dad was a wrestler for Spencerport, but let me hit Gael this one. Do you know that Spencerport was like the program? It wasn't Hilton, it wasn't Churchville, it wasn't Canandaigua. In the mid-90s, it was like no one could touch Spencerport. Gael, did you guys know that, how dominant they were?
Yeah, I was actually on the team before. I was on their team, and I always saw them winning everything, but like I never saw myself really with the team. So it didn't feel right. But once I came to Churchville, it felt like I was in a family. And it felt way better to win our first one than to win a fifth one or a sixth one in Spencerport.
So you transferred in to Churchville?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How about Andrew? You did you know how? I mean, you're a young guy, so did you know how good Spencerport was back in the day? Because now there's West Side people like Hilton and now Churchville rising up, which is pretty cool. But do you know much about the history of the program or no?
Oh yeah, I actually had two brothers that graduated last year, so I've known Spencerport was like really good since, because I've always been watching my brothers wrestle.
Andrew, what did you learn from wrestling your brothers? We had Elijah Giacomo-Hollis on a couple of weeks ago, and Yanni actually said, you know, Elijah probably has watched every match that Yanni's ever wrestled, whereas Yanni didn't get as much a chance to watch his younger brother. Was that kind of the story with you? Have you watched your brothers all the way, and what did you take away from watching them?
So my brothers were like the hardest workers I ever knew. Like, so getting that really helps me like work harder, knowing that my brothers paved the way to making my success a lot easier than what would have happened if they didn't do that. And my brother Tyler actually did go to states his senior year last year, so that's going to be one of my biggest goals.
Coy, let me ask you this. You're sitting next to your dad and he's your coach. And what's that like, being coached by your dad? Your dad mentioned, you know, like he learned about try to turn it off when you leave the gym to go home. But what's it like did you feel expectations? How do you handle that?
I kind of just like treat it like normally every day, but it's definitely something like I cherish, and I enjoy having my dad as my coach, you know, someone that I can relate to and like ask questions every day. But you know, like wrestling every day is I kind of just treat it normally, don't really add any pressure to it, but just trust my dad and trust my coach and what like is like set out for me and like the goals I want to achieve, just trusting him and stuff like that.
Cael, how about for you? And do you guys have anything wrestling wise set up at home? I know that sometimes they talk about the separation of church and state with dad and coach, but is there like a garage with mats on it, or is there someplace you guys go to wrestling such a part of your life that, you know, even in the off season you can get a workout in?
Yeah, we have mats in our garage and stuff. So sometimes me and Cole go out there and drill and practice, you know, have my dad out there sometimes and, you know, go over things that we did good, go over things we did bad. You know, it's nice having them. You know, you got someone you can not only get advice from at practice, but you can get advice from home, you know, watching film with them. And I think it's fun. It's, you know, it's nice, and you look back on it and cherish it for sure.
So whenever we have siblings on, we've done this with basketball a couple times this year. We always ask one-on-one who wins. Now, Coy, he's got some weight on you. So I'm assuming he might have an edge here, but do you guys ever chop it up, and who comes out on top, Coy?
I would like to say me, but that's just because I'm bigger than him. But I feel like if we were the same weight, I really probably couldn't tell you. But I would probably like to say me. But
Cael, would you like to counterpoint that in there, or do you guys, give us some of your take on it?
Yeah, I mean he's a lot bigger, but I say he's really good, and when we go at it, usually he wins the goes and stuff. So it's nice though learning from it. You get like a different perspective and stuff. So I enjoy it.
Coach, preparation for states. I know you've sent, individual wrestlers there before, but with the 2-week gap and then school recess where kids have more time on their hands, what's the approach as a coach to have your athletes in the best position possible to perform at their best?
Probably the biggest thing is just to stay healthy, stay fresh. They've done all the training, all the preparation, all the technique up to this point, and you're really not going to try and change anything. Coach Gross has been very accommodating. He invited us out to Hilton. So this past week, we've spent the week out at Hilton, and Cael, Coy, they get an opportunity to just get a different coach's perspective, a different training partner. But the practices, they're pretty precise, in, out, make sure everyone stays healthy. And then like Cael and Coy were saying, later in the day, we'll just come back and we'll do some strength training or work on some individual technique, but try not to overdo it. They've done such a great job to this point. And like Cael was saying and Coy was saying, just trust the process and just try and stay relaxed and fresh as possible.
Coy, do you wish it was now? Like, do you wish there wasn't a week off, or do you find you want to get right back at it, or are you finding it's some value here and having time off?
Yeah, I think when the old process where they had to try and figure out the wild card process, they needed this week to figure it out. Section 11 just finished their state qualifier on Monday and Tuesday. It would be nice for these guys to kind of roll into it. I think they're healthy, they're wrestling well, but sometimes it's nice to take a little quick breather and deep breath of fresh air and just recharge your energy tanks and then go after it. So kind of impartial.
I'm sorry, Coach. Andrew, you said your brother made it last year. And he gave you some advice. What specifically advice did he give you for you to build on?
So he told me just working hard is the most important thing. And then he also showed me that if you set your goals and you work as hard as you can to get there, you will get rewarded.
So no seniors in this group that we're talking to right now. That's pretty good. That bodes well for next year, fellas. I'm assuming that the goal now is you got to repeat, right? Gael, is that the goal? Like, the bar is here now, right?
Yeah, just get more above there, Don't get second, get first next year.
So getting a taste to get to the finals. I know you lost in the finals of Supers, right? You're not going to states, but how much does that, get you riled up to get back at it next year?
Definitely a little bit more riled up, but I get a lot of support from my wrestling partner, Jackson Cody, and he tells me every time, he's like, next year you're going to go to states, and he pushes me way harder the next day during practice, and makes me feel a lot better that I have someone specifically telling me, go get them, go at it, you'll kick their butts. And even though I placed 5th in Supers, he still came up and gave me a big hug and said, I'm proud of you. I just hope he can get here too.
Well, sounds like a good spirit there, Steve.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about this a lot too. Sometimes a defeat can serve as a motivator and make people better and teach those life lessons, because sure, everybody likes to win, but it's not always about the victory is not always the greatest lesson. And that sounds like Gael has picked up on that. Coach Raines, just one more from me. Just on your sons as wrestlers, technique wise, how do you describe them? Are they similar? Are they different? What do they do well?
You'll watch. They both have really good motors. Their conditioning is excellent. This weekend, I think they showed tremendous poise. They both were down early in the match and just stay focused and just plugged away. As far as technique, they're far better than I was. Their technique is phenomenal. I can put them in almost any position on the mat, on the feet, and they can wrestle really well. They're tremendous. Their technique levels.
So from the notes that your athletic director, Mr. Murray, appreciate his help doing some legwork on this interview for us. Coy has 124 career wins and Cael has 126. I don't know who the school record is, Coach. Are they within shouting distance of that? Could they get there, and could one of them be the record holder?
Their brother Ty, who wrestles at UB, has 196 wins. So the COVID year, I think, kind of sidelined him a little bit. They probably would have gotten close to 40 wins, but because it was such a shortened season, they only recorded 10. So I think he might have too much of a lead on him, but it'll be interesting.
Are there any more Reigns boys or girls we need to know about, or is that it? 3?
No, I'm done. My brothers have their children coming through, but as far as this is it. Cael and Coy are the last.
Well, we appreciate you, Saints, taking some time with us to get to know you a little bit and to salute you and celebrate what you did on the mat this year. And obviously, we wish the Reigns brothers best of luck at States moving forward. All the Section 5 wrestlers, because it's a great contingent. So, for Steve Bradley and our producer Joe Brott, thank you, Saints. Go Saints. Good luck next week, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching us right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.